It's there it goes. Okay, thank you. I pushed it and it must not have. I'm so glad you said so. Thank you.
I know that yes, everybody would have been, where's the recording for the
Yeah,
meeting last night? I really wanted to
yeah,
hear it again.
yeah, they would have. So
You're supposed to
Thank
record
you.
everything,
you
Linda. I've
saved
heard
me.
it.
Well, it's happened to me so many times where it's like I thought I was recording and who knows, it could be our kids, right? Messing with us, and usually they don't mess with me like that, but it has been known to happen. So,
Yeah.
thank you so much for having me back. I really appreciate it, and I really gosh, I love what I do. I don't love how I got here. That I don't love at all. But since I found what I was supposed to do with it, I love just being a help, helping others to connect. And that really is my passion. That's really what I feel my purpose is and what I need to do. And I've been on this road for over 17 years now. JT left when he was 7 years old. He left in March 2007. And immediately started receiving signs from him. I didn't realize what that was. I didn't even think about it. You just think, well, where is my kid? Where's my kid? I know he's there somewhere. Where did he go? So he led me to the people who I needed to talk to, who I needed to have teach me and kind of introduce me to this world. And then it was just it was I felt like I was on this very, very fast moving airplane going zooming through the sky because it there was no slowing down. Once I accepted my it's like Mission Impossible. I accepted the mission. There was no stopping it at all. And but I'm very grateful for that because what it did was it really did help me in my grief process to do this work, to learn how to connect, learn how to meditate. And it absolutely, of course, helped me connect with JT. And that was really, I mean, yes, I wanted to help other parents. I love helping other parents, but I'm sure all of you in the beginning just let me talk to my kid. Let me talk to my boy. And so we talk every day. And sometimes he's very strict about it and says, Mom, you really need to do this, or this is the direction we want you to go. Other times he's telling me jokes, so it's uh, it's just what a gift, I feel so blessed. But one thing I've learned on this road is that we can all do this, and that's why you're here. We can all connect. We can all have that conversation. And that's the way that I want everyone to look at it. It's a conversation. Some people they just make it too complicated. And yes, there are some steps that you need to follow. Clearing your energy and making sure that you're in the right headspace. Now, that's easy to say for someone who's going through grief, right? Well, you have to be in the right headspace. That's like that's not something that we can always be in the state of grief that we encounter sometimes, but being as clear as you possibly can. And the reason why that, and I'm sure that you have encountered this, is that if you are not clear, if you're fuzzy, if your frequency is low, that's where you're going to get the information. You're going to get the information from that frequency. So if we can raise our frequency, dump the junk, and be in that higher space and have our kids meet us or have our guides meet us, whoever we want to talk to, have them meet us in that space, then we can have a true conversation, and it doesn't need to sound like it's underwater, doesn't need to have the tones of sometimes people, if they're not in the right space, they get negative answers, they get judgment answers from guides and things like that. And I can say for certain that guides will not be negative. And so if that does occur, then it means that you need to raise your frequency, and that will help your connection so that your connection isn't fuzzied by your own stuff. So all that to say is that, again, I believe we can all connect. I believe that there's certain steps to connecting that I have found to be invaluable. And of course, the way we connect, how we receive information, that's huge. That's a huge thing. And that's one of the things that we're going to work on today, this evening, with our guides, with our helpers. We all have amazing helpers that want to assist us. And we're going to call in what we call the Claire guides. These are energies who are going to assist you in receiving. Now, we all receive information. We have all the clairs. We can all hear, feel, see, and know, and smell, and taste. We can all do that, but sometimes one or two might be stronger than the others. And so that's where tonight comes in. We're going to find out, what is our dominant clair? What is the clair that we need to focus on, that we need to train on so that you can get clearer? Because I remember in the beginning, I could hear very clearly, but I didn't think I was doing it right because I wasn't seeing. I wasn't seeing the spirit. Like, I thought that I was supposed to be, like the ghost whisperer, and they would just appear in front of me like, like a human being. And I thought, well, if I don't do it like that, then I'm certainly not a good medium. Not realizing that, man, I could hear so clearly, and I could hear whether it was a man or a woman or a child or all of that. But I kept thinking, oh, I have to do it this other way. Otherwise, I'm not doing it right. So tonight we're throwing all that out the window, and we are going to find out, how is it that they want to connect with us? Do they want us to hear it? Do they want us to see it, to feel it, to know it? And we're just going to, we only have an hour, so we're just going to touch on this a little bit. We're going to do a meditation. Those clair guides are going to come in. We're going to get into the space where we are at high frequency, and then have some information given to us, so that we can work on that clair. Because if you can train that clair and just ignore the other ones, just forget about the other ones for right now. Just the one that is most clear, then the other ones come in. Once I dump the idea that I have to see in order to be a good medium, then all of my clairs, they brightened, they expanded. And then guess what? All of a sudden I could see. I could see clearly. And so once we work on the clairs that are what we call a dominant clairs, then the other ones can come in too. So, and again, remember, we can all do this. We all have connection because we all have that beautiful loved one on the other side. And I'll tell you, they want this. They want the connection. They want the conversation. But tonight, we're not going to connect with those, with our loved ones, because that can kind of muddy the water a little bit when we're trying to figure out, how is it that I receive? So we're going to bring in some beautiful high guides, those beautiful clair guides. Okay, so this is a meditation. Get comfortable. During meditations, I do turn off my video just so that I can get into that space. I'll start some music, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this beautiful meditation. So get comfortable, whatever that means to you. And then just give me a moment as I share my sound. Okay. So first we'll test. I always like to test it to make sure that you can hear me, that you can hear the music. Okay, great. Thanks, Barb. Thank you very much. All right. Sorry, I muted myself instead of doing the video. There we go. All right. So everybody begin, please, by taking a nice deep breath. By breathing in the beautiful oxygen all around you. We clear out the cobwebs. We clear out the junk. So breathe in very deeply. And then when you exhale out anything that would be holding you from receiving completely and fully tonight. So breathe in the beautiful energy around you, the beautiful oxygen. Exhale out any blocks. And as you find the nice deep breathing pattern that is just right for you, I invite you to ground yourself. Extend roots from the bottom of your feet all the way down into the soil beneath you. We want to extend our roots even further. By grounding, we have the experience in our core, in the center of who we are. Makes it clearer, makes it brighter. So ground even more now. Make sure you are fully grounded, fully in your body. And now we open the crowns at the tops of our heads. We all have a beautiful crown chakra at the top of the head, and it opens like a flower. And as it opens, you become aware of a very high frequency energy coming down from a place called the crystalline grid. The crystalline grid is an energetic space that holds the Earth's energy. It is very high frequency, and this is where all of our guides are. This is where our loved ones are. All of the information we need is in the crystalline grid. And that energy connects with us, and it flows into us. It flows in through the crown chakra, coming down as a column of white light into the crown. It fills your face and the back of your head, your neck and your throat. It moves into your shoulders, down your arms, past your elbows, all the way down to the tips of your fingers. And the sole purpose of this beautiful energy is to clear you, to raise your frequency. And now that beautiful energy moves down your torso, down your back, flowing all the way down, surrounding your organs, your muscles, your blood, your bones. It moves into your hips now and flows down your legs, past your knees, all the way down to the tips of your toes. Again, very high frequency light energy from the crystalline grid, cleansing and clearing your physical body from head to toe. And now we invite the crystalline grid energy to assist us in cleansing and clearing the chakras. And we begin at the crown chakra, through which all of this energy is flowing. And you can feel and sense the beautiful energy of the grid surrounding your crown chakra. It cleanses it, it clears it, and it opens your crown chakra so that you're even more connected to the grid and to the universe. Your crown chakra is cleansed and cleared and open. And now the grid energy moves down to the third eye, which is in the center of the forehead, also called the brow chakra. The light from the grid surrounds the brow chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, and opening up your third eye for sight. You can see tonight. You can see everything you need to see. Your third eye chakra is cleansed and cleared and open. And now the grid energy moves to the ear chakras. We have one on the left, one on the right. The energy surrounds both of these chakras, cleansing them, clearing them, opening your hearing. The ear chakras are for hearing in the beautiful sense of spirit. And your ear chakras are cleansed and cleared and open. And now the light from the grid moves to the throat chakra, surrounding the throat chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, and opening up your throat for clear communication. We want you to be able to clearly communicate with your clair guide tonight. And your throat chakra is cleansed and cleared and open. And now that grid energy moves down to the heart chakra in the center of the chest, surrounding the heart chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, and opening up that beautiful heart center. And as your heart center opens up, a beautiful flood of universal love comes to your heart, connecting you to the universe, to all that is. Your heart chakra is cleansed and cleared and open. The light energy from the grid now moves down to the solar plexus, which is in the stomach area. It surrounds the solar plexus, cleansing it and clearing it, and opening up the power center. The solar plexus is about power, our personal power. And tonight we are fully engaged in our power. Solar plexus cleansed and cleared and open. And now the light from the grid moves down to the sacral chakra, a little bit down from the solar plexus. It surrounds the sacral chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, and opening up our creativity center. Sacral chakra is all about being creative, opening that beautiful creativity. Sacral chakra cleansed and cleared and open. And now the energy from the grid moves down to the root chakra at the base of the spine. It surrounds the root chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, and opening up the root, opening up your grounding, connecting you to Mother Earth. Root chakra cleansed and cleared and open. And now that light from the crystalline grid expands outward. It flows down around you, through you, around you, filling your aura, your bubble, transmuting anything that is not for your highest and purest good. So you are cleansed and cleared at high frequency, inside and out. Now, in order to create a vessel for our beautiful clair guides, we're going to create an octahedron around us. Simply, this is a diamond shape, and the way to do this is envisioning roses at each of the points of the octahedron. I will walk you through this. The first rose to envision is a couple of feet above the crown chakra at what we call the purpose chakra. Envision a big, beautiful rose at your purpose chakra now. The next rose to envision is below the root, just a couple of feet into the earth, and this is called the earth chakra. Envision a big, beautiful rose at your earth chakra now. The next rose to envision is in front of you, at heart level, at the edge of the aura, which is just a couple of feet out. Envision a big, beautiful rose in front of you now. The next rose to envision is behind you, heart level, edge of aura, at just a couple of feet out. Envision a big, beautiful rose behind you now. The next rose to envision is to the left, heart level, edge of aura, just a couple of feet out. Envision the rose to the left now. Final rose is to the right, heart level, edge of aura, just a couple of feet out. Envision your rose to the right now. We have our 6 roses. Roses are very high frequency. And these are the points of the octahedron. And we connect our roses energetically simply through intention. In your mind, state now, my roses are connected. And your roses are connected, and you have created a high frequency field around you. You are in the octahedron. It is part of you now, and you are part of it. It is also, again, very high frequency, so we can meet the guides at their frequency because we are now high frequency. And so we invite in our Claire guides. Claire guides, please come in to the octahedrons now. Everyone has a very amazing, beautiful Claire guide who is in your octahedron. Tune in to the energy that is in your octahedron now. Maybe you're seeing it, feeling it, hearing it, or just knowing that they're there. All of those are the Claires, and each one is valid. Ask in your mind, Claire guide, are you here with me? Yes or no? And just tune in to how that information comes to you. Does that information come to you through seeing? Do you see the energy? Do you see the word yes? Does it come through feeling? Are you feeling a vibration in your body? Are you feeling a lightness anywhere in your body? Are you feeling this energy? Did you hear the word yes when they said they were in your octahedron? We all have our Claire guides in the octahedron now, so you will get a positive response when you ask. Did you hear the word yes? Or do you just know? Do you just know that they're there? You just know that they are with you. If you did not receive a response, take a nice deep breath, ground again, and say, ask, Claire guide, are you here with me? Yes or no? However you received that response is how they are going to communicate with you now. So now we want to ask a question. And the question is, however you received it, so if you heard it, then it's through hearing. If you saw it, then it's through sight. If you're feeling it, through feeling, knowing, etc. So what we are going to ask now, we're going to validate what we just received. So in your mind, ask your Claire guide. So I received the answer through whichever Claire. Is that correct? Yes or no? Allow them time to respond. And again, if you're not receiving, take another deep breath. And I want all of you to say in your mind right now, I am a clear receiver. I receive information from my Claire guide now. So once again, Claire guide, are you here with me? Yes or no? And then the follow-up question. I received that answer through hearing, feeling, seeing, or knowing. Is that correct? Yes or no? And once you get that yes answer, yes, that is correct, then what I want you to do is I want you to ask other questions. Yes, no questions. I want you to think of something that you have been wondering about this, about the guides, about spirit, about something. See if you can phrase it as a yes, no question. And ask this Claire guide and see how they respond to you. See if they're giving it to you with the same Claire, hearing, feeling, seeing, knowing. Now, if you did not get it, then I want you to go back again, taking a nice deep breath, grounding, saying, I am a clear receiver. I know I can do this. I know I can receive from my Claire guide. Claire guide, are you here with me? Yes or no? I'm going to give you a few moments just to connect more with your guide. Ask any questions. Find out if this is the Claire you're supposed to be working on right now. And in just a moment, I will call you back. We're going to come back now and we're going to talk about this. We're going to see, what do we need to work on now? How do we need to work on it? What does our guide want us to do? So when you're ready, take a nice deep breath. Ground again, open your eyes, and then write down anything that you received that would be important to remember. And we'll just take a moment or two for everyone to write down what they received. All right, I am going to bring the music down. Awesome. Okay. And then let's talk about this just for a moment. So the first thing that I wanted to say about this is that it is a practice. And I know that you have been doing this for some of you have been doing this for a while. Some of you are new. Uh, it is a practice. And so what we did tonight was basically set it up. We set it up for you so that you can go back and do this again. You can connect with this recording again. You can go back in, you can connect with those guides again, get more information, because sometimes especially like in group settings, maybe you don't receive as much as you want to, but hey, when you're by yourself in your meditation space or in a space, that is quiet and you don't have everybody else's energy around you, maybe that is where you need to be to receive. We really need to find what works for us, what works best for us. So this is a practice. So this is not a one and done, and bam, you can hear everything from the other side. We already know this, right? We've been working on this. I work on this still. I work on staying clear and receiving and making sure. I'm one of those, I was raised by a Virgo mom, so it's like everything has to be detailed. And I said, okay, is this really what you said? And so then we validate it. And that's what I love about this particular meditation, about the way that they have us do it, is that we can get it validated. So you get in there, you do a yes no question. Am I on path? Yes or no? Then they answer, let's say this, yes, you're on path. Then you come back and you say, okay, I heard you say I am on path. Is that correct? Yes or no? So you can validate it. You can get the answer and then get it validated by asking if you heard correctly or if you received correctly, because you might not hear it. That's the way I hear it. So just wanted to put that out there before we go any further, that there's a lot of different ways to enhance this, but figuring out what is your strongest clair, how you receive. And again, it might be different than what you were expecting. It might be, or it might be the same. And you say, "Oh, yes, I guess that's correct. That's what I've been working on. So, yay, I'm on the right track." Or you might say, "Oh, wow, I have to start over again and work on a different clair." But it doesn't matter. Again, we all have all of the clairs. It's just, where do we start? And we always start with a dominant clair. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm hoping that maybe Barb or Carolyn, you could read the questions, or we can uh, talk about people's experience and any questions that people have.
We do have one question, Sarina, from Marina. She says, what is the role of the Claire Guide?
So the Claire Guide is specifically the guide that is assigned to you to help you with your clairs. So to help you with hearing, feeling, seeing, knowing from spirit. So that is their sole purpose. And we have different guides come in and out depending upon what we need at the time. And I love that I love that we have that. I love that we have help for whatever we need. And in this particular case, it's helping us to figure out what we need to work on as far as how we're receiving. So that is a specific role of the Claire Guide.
Marina had also asked about when I feel a thought in my head, is it a knowing or a hearing? How do
And
you
that's,
tell the difference
yeah,
between hearing?
it's tough. It's tough to tell the difference. A lot of it, if the thought just like boom, it's there. If it's just boom, then that's knowing. If it's more like a voice is talking to you, then that's hearing. But both can be very similar. I had I have the ability to hear, again, different inflections, whether it's a male or female, whether it's young or old. But most people who are clairaudient actually hear in their own voice, and so it can be confusing, because you don't know if it's you answering the question or if it's spirit answering the question. And so that's when I say, well, ask them something that you might not know. Ask them to validate it. Say, is that correct? Did I hear that correctly? Or did I see that correctly? Yes or no? And a lot of it is trust, especially for knowers, because those of you who are claircognizant and have knowing as your dominant clair, you've lived your entire life with this knowing. And so it can feel like, oh, that's just me answering it because that's that's who I am. I've been, this is my voice. I've been hearing this, this wisdom in my head for forever. So again, asking for different things that you might not know the answer to, or that you can validate with them.
And if anybody wants to speak their question, go ahead and just use the raise your hand tool, and then we'll know to call on you. We do have another question from Rita. How do we know whether to reach out to our guides versus our children?
So that's a great question, because I feel, what in the beginning, JT really didn't come forward right away. I could hear him. It was like spurts, but I was grieving, and because I found out I was a medium just 6 months into this journey, and you still have to do your process. Even though, you can start connecting with your children, you still have to do your process, your healing process. And so it's not always easy to connect with the kids in the beginning, because we have, I don't know about you, but in the beginning, he would come in and I would just start bawling, and then you lose connection completely. That goes away. You get better. So that's why I feel they interjected a different guide for me in the beginning, because they knew that if JT came in, that it would make it more complicated for me to learn. And that's what we're talking about here, is learning to connect. Because if you can connect with your guides, you can connect with anybody. It's energy. And as long as we learn how to connect with one energy, then you can connect with any energy. And that's how it worked with JT. I would work diligently with my guides, my teachers on the other side, and just doing my exercises, doing my practice work. And then all of a sudden, one day, JT popped in, and it was like a regular conversation. And at that point, I was far enough along, I was far enough into my healing process that I was able to do that without having, without becoming the puddle. And it's okay. Excuse me. It's okay to be a puddle. We're supposed to be puddles too, where we have to do our process. We have to do our healing. But I would probably suggest in the beginning to work with the guides, and then invite, you can invite your kids to come in too. But let's have the teachers come in and teach you first, right? And then the kids are going to always be there anyway. Don't ever don't ever doubt that. Your kids are always there, even if you invite somebody else into your octahedron. And I have found the octahedron to be a game changer for me. Really, it takes your frequency so high, so fast. And so inviting somebody into your octahedron does not mean that your child is not invited also. They are connected to you. They're part of you. But again, sometimes connecting with them can be a little bit more painful. So we work with the guides first.
Marina has her hand up. Marina, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, I have a question. I got the answer that I have like knowledge, so it's clear, clear cognizance.
Yes.
And I ask, it was not yes, no question. I ask if I can develop my other clairs. The answer was yes, with time. Can you suggest
Great.
how can I do this? It's question number one. And question number two, you just said that connecting with our child is emotional. And I agree. I tried several times your meditation. I was interrupted in the middle because I start crying. Maybe would you recommend to first try to connect maybe with other relatives who are behind the veil, who like, for example, my parents who passed away many years ago. Maybe it will be easier this way. What would you say?
My suggestion as a teacher is to connect with the teachers. So what that means is connect with those guides that are going to help you with learning this. I really feel that's invaluable. And again, it doesn't mean that you don't connect with the others, but these guides, like your Claire guide, knows exactly what you need, exactly how to get you there. They know your plan. They see it. They are here specifically to help with this. And this is just one of the many guides, one of the many teachers that you can use, or that is there for you, that has agreed to help you. And it doesn't mean that, loved ones aren't there to help too, but I pitch it to the, I want to go as high as possible. And so I pitch it to the highest frequency possible. And so that's what I do. I say, whatever teacher, whatever high frequency teacher, whatever master teacher is available to help me with this particular thing, whatever it happens to be, please come in and help me now. And what that does is that, it opens the door for those who really have the knowledge, um, the ability and the way to teach. They know how to teach us. They know what we need. So I'm not discouraging anybody from connecting with their kids by any means, because I tell you that there's nothing like it. There's nothing better than that. But when we're learning, it needs to be balanced. We can connect with the kids, absolutely, but we should also be connecting with teachers because, again, they can help teach us how to connect with the kids.
Super. And Sarina, we have several questions.
Great.
And so I'm hoping I'm going in order here. Debbie says that asks if she can practice like thinking through that meditation, or does she need to practice by listening to your voice, to that particular meditation? Can she think through it?
If I understand what she's saying, it's like not listening to the actual recording, but actually doing it herself.
Mhm.
And that's how I do it. I think my way through it, as long as you can remember the different things to do. And my way is only one way. I have found it to be really, really effective, but there's plenty of other ways to connect too, as you all have been learning as you've been going through this. So you can speak it. What I like to do in the beginning when I'm learning a new meditation, when I'm trying to do it, is speak it aloud. So, have it be in a quiet place and speak it aloud. And then the other one, which is really good to do that in your car, I love my car is like used to be one of my offices when I because I would do my clearings, I would do, my meditation, because it was the only quiet place that I could find, having little kids, it was the only quiet place. So the car is really good for that. But yeah, absolutely, as long as you hit those steps. As long as you do that and you can feel it. You can feel when you're in the octahedron. You can feel when it's I don't want to say successful, but when the energy is around you, your energy lifts. You feel differently. So as long as you can get there, then you don't need to listen to any recording.
I have kind of a follow-up question to that, I think, as far as I like kind of the reminders that you put out, like kind of reconnect to being grounded. And okay, so like that connection is very important. Is there, during your meditation time, is there like a time limit for the octahedron? Does it like expire and you have to rebuild the octahedron? How does that work?
I only find that the octahedron disintegrates, let's put it, if I have wandered off. If my attention has wandered, then I find that then at that point, then I need to redraw or redo the octahedron. But it doesn't expire. I wear one all the time. I'll check in every now and then and say, okay, do I have it on? How is it? How is it doing, and then, beef it up if I need to, especially if I'm going into a crowd. The octahedron's fabulous for protection of energy. Since it's high frequency, then you can go into a crowd with it and not feel bombarded with energy.
Let's see. Gail has a question. She liked the music, and so what are you using?
I know it's so wonderful. It's Pixabay. I love Pixabay.com. They have great images. I use all their images on my website and on my newsletters, in my courses and all of that. And Pixabay also has music. And so you just go to Pixabay.com and type in like meditation music, and then on the side there is a place where it either says images or illustrations. And if you look down, there's one that says music on there, or I think it says music or MP3, something, one of those. Click on that, and then all of the available music will come up. It's all royalty free. I donate money to the artists that I use, because I use some regularly. So I will, do a quarterly donation or a monthly donation, depending upon how often I use their stuff. Oh, I use it in my card deck too. My Oracle card deck used all of the images, and pay those artists because they put it out there for free. And so yeah, it's wonderful. So that's where the music came from.
Cool. Good question.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a question that they want to speak? I, for some reason, can't tell if your hand is raised. So Carolyn, you might have to do that. I don't know.
I can talk a little bit about the mentoring thing that
Yeah, please.
I
Yeah.
have just so that if it calls to you, if something like this is calling to you, starting in January, we are doing it's called Learn to Connect Mentor Program. And we meet once a month as a group, and maybe do a meditation, learn some tools, figure out, I do leave it up to spirit to decide what we are learning. They're really good about that. They are the teachers. I'm just the facilitator. And so every month we meet as a group, and then we also meet one-on-one. You and me meet one-on-one, and that's where it gets really interesting, because we hone in on what you specifically need to do to connect. There's always going to be blocks. There's always going to be things that we need to get out of the way, but sometimes we don't know what those are. And so I love this program. It's very individualized, but also has the group component. That's starting in January, and there is information on my website about it. It's right on the front page. So if something like this is calling to you, then I'd love to have you join in. It's a year-long thing. It's for 12 months.
And I'm just going to throw in a plug for you, Sarina, because I'm in the program like right beforehand, and I'm going to continue on. But I do so enjoy the one-on-ones as well, and it just seems like you know exactly what we need, and so that's my plug.
Thanks, Barb. Yeah, it really is nice when you have this these amazing teachers. We have so much available to us that, again, all I have to make sure have to make sure I'm a clear receiver so that I can receive it for you, until you can receive it yourself from them. But they really want us to have that connection. They really want us to live in this world of connection, and knowing that, this isn't it here. This incarnation is just a small microcosm of who we are. And so those teachers are just fabulous at getting to the meat of what needs to happen.
Okay, I think Monica has a question. Monica, can you unmute? Is that MS?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hi.
Hi there.
2 questions. The first one, I got so tired. Is that natural? And I was yawning. No, I got so tired.
Well, that is a part of, meditation is about relaxation too, right? So what happened was your body let down. I mean, your body came down. I sense that you are probably somebody who lives up here, you know? And
Oh.
so having, doing meditation is super important to bring it down and to let your body rest. And so yes, yawning is natural. I mean, people fall asleep all the time during meditation, and they always say, "Oh, I don't know if I got it because I fell asleep." There's always that subliminal part of us, that subconscious part of us that's going to get it. I mean, yes, it's better you don't fall asleep so you can actually be a participant. But, if you do fall asleep, then it's just your body saying, thanks for the rest because I
I didn't
needed
fall
that.
asleep, but I'm more thinking, and I do
Yes,
meditate, but the
good.
person that I meditate with just says breathe through your nose and
Oh,
listen to your breath
so it's a breathing one, right?
and
Yeah.
and then also we like visualize our problems leaving on a
Yes.
cloud,
Oh, I
that
love that.
type. Yeah, I love it too. But I'm curious and former teacher and do want to learn how to connect more. So maybe I can get beyond the yawning. But what is what is the term you kept saying? I have some healing stones, but what's the octahedron? I didn't know
Oh, the
what that was.
octahedron. I
Oh yeah,
know. Yeah, it's
octahedron. What
gosh,
is
do
it?
I have one here? It's a diamond. It's a diamond shape.
Oh,
It is two tetrahedrons on
a
top of
crystal?
each other. No, it's just a shape. It's sacred geometry.
Oh,
And where is mine? Where's my octahedron? Oh, did it
I've never
stay?
heard the word.
Yeah, it's no, I have this in crystal form, but it's you
Oh,
don't I'm very visual. So
me too.
I have octahedrons everywhere. But it's sacred geometry. And again, that's one of the things that we definitely go over when we're in the mentor class because man, sacred geometry, there is so much there. What it is these shapes and energy that is created by the universe for us. I mean, there are tons of different kinds of sacred geometrical energy around. You probably have, heard of the Merkaba. Let's see if I can get that. The
Hmm.
Merkaba is basically two tetrahedrons that have merged together. And the
Oh,
tetrahedron is just a pyramid. That's all that a tetrahedron is. And
so
so
they're
we learn
grounding. They're grounding.
well, they have different functions, really. The octahedron is the purpose that we have it, and I learned this actually through Jim Self. The man's name is Jim Self, and he had a book, gosh, early 2010s or 2013-ish, called What Do You Mean the Third Dimension is Going Away? And
Mm.
it was a great book, but he talked about the octahedron and about the roses and what it does. And so I adopted that. Now he goes beyond that, and his octahedron actually turns into a Merkaba. And then he goes from there. And,
Huh.
and not to confuse anybody, because I don't want to get too confusing here with it, but this energy that we get from these from the sacred geometrical shapes, like the sphere, that is very much protection as well. There's a
Huh.
lot of them. There's a lot of different energies that are present in our earth, in our
I
world,
see.
that are high frequency. And so the octahedron is one that I use to get us to that frequency so that we can have the conversation.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely.
Well, we're almost at the end. Does anybody have a last?
Marina has one more question. She has her hand
Okay.
up. Do we have time for that? It looks like we might have one.
Yes, I'm
Question.
sorry for asking so many questions. When I'm a member of your meditation club, and when I try to do meditation, I'm usually in bed, so I'm horizontal. So how do you create octahedron when you are in horizontal position? You still start from above your head, below your head.
Yes. And you'll just have it long. I'm sorry, I'm going to fall back in my chair. You'll just have it long. It'll be the length of the bed then. So it just basically so that it's around you, the crown So if you're lying down, then then the one above the crown's going to be up here. So it doesn't really matter if you're lying down or sitting up how you do the octahedron. It'll work just the same because again, we're setting intention that it's high frequency, that I'm putting this around me so that I can create high frequency so that I can invite my guides and my helpers in.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, super. Thank you, everybody. And Sarina, great meeting. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so
Um,
much for having me. I really do appreciate it. And uh, I know where everybody is, we've all been there. And so helping each other out in like forums like this, just, thank you to Barb and Carolyn for doing this, for putting this together.
Thank you, Sarina. That was really, really a wonderful meditation and something I'll definitely work on. I have always been so obsessed with connecting with my daughter that it's hard for me to try to connect with someone else. I just always want my daughter.
Right?
And I feel that's made it a little bit hard, a little bit longer for me to get where I want to be, just because I'm always just too focused just on her, and to get help from the teachers is just great advice.
Good. And we understand that, don't we? We all want to talk to our children for sure. And but I did find again that yeah, it was just it just made things complicated to try to do it that way for me. So having the teachers was fabulous. I really appreciate everybody being here. Thank you.
Thank you again. And if everybody wants to unmute and say goodbye and thank you, we'd love to hear you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Serena.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
Thank you
you.
so much.
Have
Thank
wonderful.
you.
holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks.
Serena, your course, it can be joined at any time or only at the beginning of the year?
Only beginning of the year. Yes, we're finalizing things now because it's a progression. So it starts in January and we progress, to throughout the year. So yeah, we'll need to know soon. Awesome. Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Thanks again.
Have a
Bye-bye,
beautiful
everybody.
night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks again, Serena. Bye-bye.